So, okay. So, hi everyone, wherever you are. Uh, I just want to recognize that some of you um are tuning in from like places that is really far away from where I am. So it may be the morning for you, the evening, or later than that. So I will just say hi so that I don't have to go good evening, good morning, and all these things. So I'm Françoise Mukuku Mwamba Malale. For those who knows Congolese like me, we always have like long names, but you can call me Mukuku. I like that name because there's no gender attached to it. But if you call me Françoise, I will also respond to that. So I'm a member of the group, and I did research some months ago on the legal recognition of trans, non-binary, and gender non-conforming people in 2 countries. And I was really eager to share that with you and have your feedback and reflection around that, because most of the time when we hear about legal recognition, it is like in the global north. But I wanted also to share an experience, point of view of the LGBTQ community from global south, and not just global south, but Central Africa. It's a region that we don't hear about very often. So I think this will be a first for most of you. Bren? Yeah, and I want to ask you to be patient with my English because it's like the 5th or 6th language that I speak. So really be patient with me. Can we go to the next slide, Bren? So that is me. I'm a queer activist, researcher, and a consultant. I'm based in Kinshasa, the capital city. Next. Yeah. So as I was saying, in 2024, there was an organization based in Central Africa, which was interested in finding out about the legal recognition, whether there was like possibilities of starting the conversation in the region. And they were interested in doing that in Burundi and Democratic Republic of Congo for various reasons. The first reason is because the 2 countries used to be one. Now they're separate countries, but after the Second World War, when the Germany lose the war, Burundi was one of his protectorates. So there was like a redistribution of countries, and Burundi was attached to Congo. So they thought that if they do the research in the 2 countries with the same colonial kind of history, legal history, they could find similarities to work in the 2 countries. And yes, so when we say legal recognition, what do we mean? We mean that for most of us, I'm sure all of us, the name that we have, the sex that we have on our legal document, we had them from our birth or when we were very little. But we see that in countries like ours, some people don't have like legal document, but when you have it, generally it's when you are small, you are kids, you are baby, and it's your parents who go to a registry and say that we have a baby and it's a boy, it's a girl. They give the name, they give the sex, and everything is written on a legal paper, and you'll have to carry that legal identity all your life, And for most of us, it's not a problem. My parents choose to call me Françoise Mukuku, and it's not a problem for me. I will use it all my life and I will be okay. But we have to recognize that in our community, we have people who do not align with this legal identity. And these are trans people. Some of them are born in a biological body that is different from what they want to express, or what they feel it is their real identity. So they will go from male to female or female to male. Some of them are non-binary. They reject completely the binary between. They don't want to choose between being a male or a female. And then you have gender non-conforming, who are actually like outside of the conversation. They don't even want to reject it, or what they just say. They are just saying, we just want to be what we want to be, and for our friends that are trans, non-binary, or gender non-conforming, it's really a problem to have a legal identity that box them in one identity when they have many, or they want to be, they consider that gender is like a spectrum. They want to move within that spectrum, but the legal identity box them in just one of them. So for some of them, it's not all of them. For some of them, it's really important that they can change that the legal identity, the legal paper that they have reflects their real identity. So this is the topic that I want to share with you now. We did that research with members of the community in the two countries, and this is the rendition of that research. Bren? I think I will just go to the next slide. So the slide that I just passed, I was just explaining how there are two countries. They were colonized by Belgium. So we speak French in the two countries. And most of the time when you speak French, people think that we are colonized by France, but we were colonized by Belgium. And as I explained before, we used to be one country at some point for 3 or 4 years. And then both countries accessed their independencies in the 60s. So the laws were at the beginning mostly the same. We inherit the law from Belgium, and Belgium itself copied a lot of its legal framework from France. But that was in the 60s. But 40 years after the independence, the law has evolved, and you can see differences between the legal framework of Burundi and Congo. Next slide. I just wanted to, yes. So in the similarities in the two countries is that for the two countries, gender is a binary. You are a woman or a man. There's no nothing between the two. There's no trans, there's no binary. So even when the laws, the policies, and all these documents talk about gender, it's mostly in a binary way. Secondly, the similarities between the two countries, the legal documents are acquired at birth. You have up to 90 days in Congo to register a baby, to give them a legal identity, and it's quite the same in Burundi. In both countries, there's a time frame, as I just said, 90 days. It used to be 30 days in Congo. So it's free when it is in the time frame of 30 or 90 days. And then if you are outside of that time frame, it's become complex because you have to go to court, you have to bring people who will testify that the baby is really yours and everything. So it's complex and it's pricey. And even when it's free, we will see it later, even when it's free, sometimes the office where you have to register the birth is quite far, and parents cannot make it between the 30 days because like it's cost them a lot to go to that office, or it's just a journey, and when you just give birth to a kid, there's so many things that can prevent you from traveling far just to register the birth. But there's also war, there's also many things that prevent people from registering kids between the 90 days. This is why in the two countries you have people who do not have a legal identity. And in both countries, you don't have support for medical transition, because we were also looking into whether transitioning medically can open one to change the legal identity. It's not possible in the two countries. Next. So when you are a trans person, when you are non-binary or non-conforming person, what are you likely to change on your legal documents? Next. So you want to change the name, because most of the time the name are gendered, especially if you have like a foreign name or what we call Christian name. Because in our tradition, when you are called Mukuku, there's no gender attached to it. It's just the name of your clan or your family, But now with Christian name, when your name is Matthew, everybody knows that Matthew is a name for boy or man, So when you are someone transitioning, you may want to change your name to align it with your real identity. What needs to be changed for you is also the gender marker. Most of our legal documents have gender markers. They show that you are female or male. Now we have in some countries where you have X, you have O, you have T to show that you are trans or other, or X. X can be okay for non-binary or gender non-conforming people. But if you are in Burundi or Congo, you are likely to have F or M on your document, and you will want to change that. You may also need to change your picture, because like on your passport, for us Congolese, it's a long story. I will make it short. We don't have like identity card for the last 30 years. They did not print identity card. So the only identity document that everyone have is a passport. And on that passport, you have your picture. And once you take a picture for your first passport, when you ask for a renewal, they will keep they will not change your picture unless you ask for it, and there's a process to it. They will keep like printing the same picture that you took the first time you asked for a passport. So that can also be a problem for someone who transition, whose feature does not, look like it used to be like 5 years ago when they asked for the first passport. So my question for me, it was the name, gender marker, and picture. But I want also to know from you whether you think that there's other things that need to change on your legal document when you are trans, non-binary, or gender non-conforming. You can write, like in the text, so that we can discuss it later. What else do you think need to change on your legal documents? I'm sure there's many, depending on countries, there are things that you see on your legal document that can be problematic for a trans person. Bren, I think you will see whether there's someone who writes something in the chat.
Yeah, I'll keep it on.
Yes, but I will open another bracket or another discussion in the discussion. I don't know whether you know the story of Rwanda. before the genocide. It's the country that went through an horrific, horrible genocide. And that was because the tribe was written in the legal document. So if you were Hutu, it was on the legal document. If you were Tutsi, it was on the legal document. And that was really detrimental when the genocide happened, because they could see on your legal document whether you were from one tribe or the other one, and they decided to erase it from the legal document. So if you have also some examples of other things that can be problematic on a legal document, when you are trans, non-binary or gender non-conforming person, please write it in the chat. Next. Yes. So what happened if you go to the bank to open an account, you go in a clinic, you are looking for an employment or an apartment, and the gender on your legal paper does not match what the person see in front of them. So you will face scrutiny, you will face discrimination, marginalisation, violence, and sometimes denial of services. This is what came out of the research that we did with the community of the two countries. Next. And here I really want to give like a warning, because I will read some of the testimonies that we had during the research, and I recognize that it can be triggering for some of us who may be on that call. So we receive testimonies of denial of services, human rights violation, ICT facilitated violence, etc. I just pick one of each. Next. So impact on rights. Someone say, I was forced to remove my wig so that they could take the photo that will go on my voter registration card. You see? So one of the legal documents was the voters registration card, and for that they needed a picture, and the person really felt like it was not just about the document, but it was about not recognizing their true identity, and it was a violation of human rights. Another one said, during the electoral process, they prevent me from entering the enrollment room because of the way I was dressed. So another violation of civil rights of that person. I needed a copy of my birth certificate. They asked me whether I was a woman or man, whether I wanted to get married one day, and they started preaching me the Bible. You know, here the person did not even say, I want you to change something. They just needed their rights to, to prove that they are Congolese or from Burundi. But it's open to a lot of scrutiny, a lot of question, a lot of, like they did not really treat him as with dignity. This is what I wanted to say. Another testimony, a police patrol stripped me naked, filmed me when laughing, and shared the video online. Because for them, they were dressed maybe like a woman. I will put it into brackets, but they were not women. It's another way of like dismissing the person, the real identity of the person, and it's really a human rights violation. Next. So you will see that I will just talk about impact on health and rights, because that was the focus of the research, but we came across so many testimonies. So on health, someone say many people, especially non-binary people, do not reveal their transgender identity because the community has not yet mastered this. When they go for administrative document, we ask them to go as men or women so as not to draw attention to them. So I don't know if really we understand what it means for someone trans to, to put aside their real identity and to fake an identity that they don't feel just to go to the clinic and have a service. And most of them say, no, I will not go. So if they are not ready to receive me as I want, then I will not go. And the leader of this organization was telling me how they were pleading with people like, please, you need that treatment. And to have that, you have to dress some way. And they were really like pleading with people to go because it was their health that was on the line. Next. So, what are the consequences of not recognizing the legal identity of the person? So, there's dysphoria. Dysphoria is a mental disorder that that you can experience when your real identity is not recognized, when they're asking you to dress in some ways, or like go back to your dead name and all these things. So it can create a mental disorder because they're asking you to fake who you are, you can also be exposed to denial of services, as I just said. They will say, we don't treat this kind of person. Or if you want your injection, go back and dress as a man, or so many things. And so some consequences are denial of services, and sometimes these are really like life-saving treatments, like related to HIV or other life-threatening condition, but they will say, no, we know that is very essential for you to have that injection or to have your medicine today, but we are not giving it to you if you're not dressed as a man or as a woman. Socially, trans, non-binary, and gender non-conforming people are not captured in the Vita stats. Remember here, the organization who commissioned that work was also interested in the impact on health. So most of the people working in the HIV sector or other health sector do not capture trans or non-binary or even gender non-conforming people because of all the discrimination, marginalisation. Some of them are just sent back home, like, we will not service you. And when you don't service them, you don't also capture them in the what we call vital statistic, and there's no services catered for them. They will say, like, we have a program for sex worker, but only for female or male sex worker. They will not have like program or something specific for non-binary, gender non-conforming or trans people, or they will record them as male or female, and that is also a problem. Like in Congo, in both countries actually, we found that only the HIV sector that is heavily funded by the U.S. corporation capture the data of transgender sex workers. So it's the only program that captured those data, but because the program is official, they have also to put it like in a national registry. And then it's become a problem because the national registry say how many men and how many women did you service. So it's also a problem. Next. Yes. So it's another testimony. The trans people who work with us don't go to the hospital with everyone else. They prefer to go to clinics opened by project because at least there they are treated with dignity. They don't ask many questions before receiving them and give them the treatment they need. This was a trans organization in Burundi. But what we have to know is that the clinics that are run by programs have limited services. At some point, you need to go to the big clinic or you need to go to the public clinic where you have all the services. Next. So, how to change that? So, we asked our constituencies in the two countries how to change that. Do you see, like any avenues of changing that, at least of starting the conversation? And we also did our own research, going through documentation to see what can be changed or how the community can use the process that exists already to change the name, gender markers, and picture. So in both countries, changing the name is allowed. There's a long list, if the name is against morality or, it was used for criminal activities or these kind of things, you can ask the judge, go to court to ask for your name to be changed on your legal documents. But again, gender identity is not part of the condition to ask for a change of name. In DRC, you have to go to the courts. In Burundi, it's the Ministry of Justice, and both of them have discretionary, they use their discretion to say whether they will grant you that or not. So that's also a problem. How do you change the gender markers in the two countries? In both countries, it's not allowed, because for them, the gender, you have it from birth and you keep it all your life. So there's nothing in the law, nothing to suggest that you can change the gender markers on your legal documents. Pictures, as I said, it's allowed, at least in Congo, where the practice is to keep your picture for all the passport that you will ask. And now, because they are trying now to do identity card that we didn't have for more than 30 years, now they are suggesting that to just take the registry of passports and convert it in the identity card. It means that for some people who asked for the first passport in 1998, they are likely to have the same picture on their ID card, So that is also a problem. But you can also ask to change that picture. It's allowed, at least in DRC, it's allowed, but it's a long process and you have really to say why you want to change that picture. I've seen people who were applying for the US visa and the embassy asked them to change the picture because, it was not like they put on weight or it was different from the picture they had before, or they were like kids and now they are grown up, this kind of thing. So you can take that paper and go with it to the passport application place and show them and they can change your picture. But I don't think that you can just go and say, I want a new picture and they will give it to you. So again, what else do you think need to change on our legal document so that our friends, our family, our allies in the trans, non-binary and gender non-conforming community can really access this world with their true self, with their real identity? Next. That is a question that I was asking since the beginning. So now to come to the recommendation we had on our research. it was for the two countries, the two states, to expand the legal framing of gender to include trans, non-binary, and gender non-conforming people. For the DRC, add self-declared gender as a reason of changing legal identity, because there are reasons under which you can ask to change your name or what, but legal self-declared gender is not part of it. So we ask that for that to be added in the lists for the community at least and their supporters to make an advocacy in that sense. Recommendation was for the Justice Ministry to make the Justice Ministry sensitive to gender identity issues, because it has a discretionary power to grant that. You know, they don't say why and how we should do that. They just say at its own discretion. You know, so we thought that if the Ministry of Justice is sensitive to this question, it can become an ally and use this discretionary power to allow the change of name or in the document, at least the name. Another recommendation was when about to legalize, if or when the countries will be ready to recognize other gender identity, they should prioritize self-declaration, because in most of the countries, when they say yes, then they put restrictive measure, like you need to be sterilized, you need to be a certain age, etc., which make it even more difficult for trans, non-binary, and gender non-conforming people to access that change. Another recommendation was to start collecting information about people who suffer from this situation, their need, and how to close the gap. So it should not just be in health and human rights, but also see how it plays in other sectors of their life. Another recommendation was to explore the possibilities of leaving aside gender markers on the legal document. I know that some countries are already reflecting on that. Instead of saying X, because X can also be problematic in some countries, O, T, can't we just drop it? You know, like drop the gender markers. And for that, we think that we have now biometrics and other ways of really asserting that this person is really, you know, like Mukuku is really the person who's on the document. You don't need my gender markers written somewhere. You just need to make sure that it's me and the document belongs to me. Next. These were the recommendations from the reports. So when doing the report, because it was really like practical with the realities of each country, we came across the ghost children, and it's really like a loophole that trans, non-binary, and gender non-conforming people can use. So in both countries, as I was saying at the beginning, like many African countries, the majority of children are not registered as birth because it's costly when you are not in the time frame of 30 days or 90 days, because in that time frame it's free. But if something prevents you from registering the birth in that time frame, then it's become costly because you need to go to court, you need to pay, you need to, sometimes the court is far from where you live. There's war, many people were also displaced, so they cannot do that, and it's costly for them to go back to the place of birth to register the birth. Ignorance, many people don't know in both countries that they need to do that. And there's also distance from where to do the registration. And according to UNICEF, the birth of nearly 95 million children under the age of 5 in sub-Saharan Africa are not registered. And 1 in 3 unregistered children lives in just 3 countries, including the Democratic Republic of Congo, one of the 2 countries that we research. So it's really like a reality. For many people, we're asking them, what is the gender marker on your legal document? Does it like align with your real gender, your self-declared gender? And they were like, I don't even have any legal document to start with, you know? So it's really like, it's a reality in the 2 countries. Next. So, what these countries who have like many what we call ghost children do to give a legal identity to those kids. So there were like several innovations that were tried. The possibility of issuing a supplementary judgment. So you go to court. I did it myself, you know. I went to court and bring some evidence. Most of the time, you just bring 3 person who knows you that I'm Francoise Mukuku and I want to be registered. I'm 24, I'm 25. I want now to be registered because my parent did not have the means to do it when I was a child. And then, you know, I bring also a lawyer or an advocate with me. I pay the advocate. I support the transport of the 3 people. In my case, the 2 of them were my parents, and then we added one person, you know. So if you have the means, you can go to court and change it. And many people who used to be ghost children have now papers because they went through this process. And of course, when you do that, you self-declare your name, gender, and give a picture. You know, what you couldn't do if your parent did it when you were 30 days old. But when you go to court, they say, okay. So it means if I bring 3 people, I'm Francoise Mukuku, but if I bring 3 people who say it's Matthew, you know, they will write Matthew because I bring the 3 person who testify that I'm Matthew, and they will this will be my new identity, at least for the name. I didn't come across someone who did it for the gender or for the picture, but at least for the name you can do that. And I'm sure, knowing Congo and Burundi, I'm sure you can also do it for the gender marker and give a picture, the picture of the day you went to court, you know. The second thing to do is the possibility. Oh, okay, I said it already. In the first case, it was going to courts, but in the second case, it can be for for your voters card, you know, to enroll as a voters. You can bring also 3 person, including the chief of your neighborhood, who is testify that you live in that neighborhood. It will give you like a voters paper, and later you can use that voters paper to ask for a driving license, and later you can use that also to ask for a passport, and it's become your legal identity. So next. Okay, I did not write it, but there's like a lot of like UNICEF programs that will go like in village and look for kids who are not registered and look for 3 people, organize the transport and everything to make sure that they are registered, even if they are 10 or 15, they will do that work. There's a lot of program that does that. And like in this research, it was also something that was also put forward. Like, why don't we do that? Why don't we support people with 3 persons to go to court or to start with their voters registration that will be commutes in other legal document, and that will become eventually their legal identity, their definitive legal identity. So the first recommendation was for the countries. Now we have some recommendation for progressive organization who supports trans, non-binary, and gender non-conforming people. Yeah, it's also for them to accept, to when they have discussion, health organization, and human rights violation, to also themselves put forward the fact that gender is a spectrum, is not a binary. Most of progressive organizations themselves, when they are talking with other organizations, they don't really try and open the discussion on how the gender is not just male and men and women, but it's also trans and non-binary people. Continue to advocate for the expansion of legal definition of gender, establish a safety net to help TNB, G, and C who are bullied because of their gender identity or expression, include health stats collected by HIV organization to roll out an evidence-based advocacy to say that, hey, it has been 5 years since we are collecting evidence in the HIV field, and we know that in those countries there are trans people, non-binary, and gender non-conforming, and we need to do something for them. Raise public awareness on gender beyond the binaries, so that the police, when they meet someone whose papers does not align with their expression, they understand that, oh, this person may be a trans, non-binary, or gender non-conforming people, instead of stripping them naked, instead of preaching the Bible to them or denying them services because you don't think that they are representing what the legal document says. And remove restrictive requirements where needed, and allow self-determination as well. In the list of things that can bring someone to change the legal documents. Next, I think that was the last slide for me. So now I'm opening for the discussion. Are there ways in your countries where TNB, G, and C people have successfully fight back against or found ways to sidestep these laws? If so, what are the requirements to change one's official name, gender, picture on the document? And has there been any progress in terms of legal identification in your country or context? What are some of the examples of attempts or approved legal method that can create additional inclusion and flexibility for TNB, G, and C people? So I'm really eager to hear from you. What is the situation in your country? What I said about my country and Burundi, does that give you some new ideas in your own work to bring your country to recognize the gender, if I can say like that, of TNBG1C. So these are the questions, and you can just raise your hand, and I will give you the floor.
Thank you so much. Sorry, I'm going to stop recording and stop sharing my screen.